Hey, I'm gonna give y'all a real. This is June, and I need to do a June update of the backyard. I did one of the front, but I'm gonna give y'all a real backed up, abstract viewpoint because things aren't looking as tidy as I would like them to look. But, I'm busy. Yesterday's energy is not today's energy, but we're doing the best we can. So, my uh, bird of paradise, which is a prized plant to me. It means a lot to me for many reasons. It's putting out new leaves. It got new shoots coming up, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited that that's gonna be glorious come mid-season. I popped the coleus in here. I could just snip the top of it off like this and let it push out some new growth because it's starting to get burned. I could root this, but it's not that necessary. My If you could remember from a few videos ago, I did some Montauk Daisy cuttings. They look pretty rough for a while, but majority of them are good. So that's that. My rain barrel runneth over. This has been a really cool and rainy spring. No complaints. Things are good. I planted some old season here, and nothing happened. This one radish seed went to seed, and that's okay. It wasn't a big deal. Spinach and radish in here, but they were old seeds, so the germination rate was pretty low. Who knows? It might all come up next year. That's typically how it goes sometimes. Carrots in the bins, carrots in the bags, have been doing great. As far as the greens, now, will it produce any sizable carrots that we can eat? We shall see. I have a tomato over here. These mosquitoes, which is doing all right. I have my lettuce, which I've been eating. It's been doing pretty good. These mosquitoes. That's a good view. That's a really good view. I have my nasturtium, which finally filled out and it looks pretty good and starting to cascade down is what I wanted to do. But once that kind of like fizzles out, these coleus will take over if they stop trying to go to flower and go to seed, go to flower. Then that should take up that. It must get really hot back here. These hosses are pretty scorched, but there's always another layer under the bottom, so I can come out here and cut these off, the old ones, and allow that new younger growth to come out, and it'll look just like new. It's Paris, looks good. I see some weeds, which I just pull and toss, and also some cosmos coming up. This is another weed. This is another weed. Lemon balm hanging in there. Whatever's not getting smothered by these glorious hostas over here. This leaf is really big. Look at that. It's amazing. They look good. Japanese maple looks amazing. These really look good. The daisies look good. I cut those back so they're not super tall, hopefully. I cut them back enough and they don't flop over. They have some variegated liriope, dianthus. There's one little buried back there, which is fine. It'll stay, and it's a bunch of weeds, but again, I don't fight weeds. I work with them. Lemon cypress, another beautiful hosta. There is a coral bell in here, which probably needs to be moved at this point because it's getting smothered by the daisy. Oh, poor rhododendron. I don't know what is sucking the life out of this. Maybe it's the daisy, but I probably should move that because it looks really glorious, and then It looks really sad, so it's not happy at all right there. And neither is that lemon cypress. I can move that as well. These plantation lilies, it must have gotten really hot back here at some point. They look a bit scorched on the tips, and the green doesn't look as blue as it should. It looks a little yellow, which means it's, I don't know, it'll be fine. Azaleas and rhododendrons are looking good. The sedum, which I cut back, which is putting out, you cut it off and then it puts out 2 growth points, so it should be a much shorter and stockier plant. Some more weeds. It's a great time to pull them because I can get the whole root. Oh, that was satisfying. Hosta looks good. Burning bush always looks amazing. They just get ignored until the fall time when it's their time to perform. This one is really big, and I just gonna look like a burning bush. Get it? Come fall time, and I'm excited about that. These little spindly hostas are cool and everything, but I wanted something that had more coverage here, so we'll see if I don't need to buy more of them or just wait until next year. Maybe they'll naturalize and become a thicker, or I could get some more of this loriope and just finish that off because I really like the way that looks. This hosta, my goodness, amazing. If it wasn't for all the detritus all over the hosta from the tree above, it wouldn't look so dirty, but it just loves it over here, and I love it being over here. There's weeds back there. There's a willow that I stuck in the ground, which looks a bit yellow, but it's also growing, so excuse me, we'll see what that does. Oh, I haven't updated the alleyway in a while because it got a bit overgrown. It's hard maintaining things when you don't really have time, but again, this is that backed up view because it's a lot of weeds. There's some pachysandra in there, some evergreen, like creeping junipers, and there's a wisteria. There's some peas that I planted. See, some peas. There's cosmos. There's daisies. There's some more peas here. There's a hosta. I just put a lot of random stuff back here. There's a hosta back there buried. These ferns look good. I wish this was all ferns. That would be really nice because it hides the weeds well, and it just looks great. So hopefully that spreads and just be a nice fern, and maybe some ground covers peeking out. I would really like that. It's very low maintenance. Hosta is really nice back here. I had some echinaceas planted, but I guess they didn't make it. Some more pachysandra and some creeping jenny, but for the most part, it's being maintained quite nicely. I just have to pick up the random piece of trash every now and again and kind of buzz the growth down. But it is, if you go back and look at what it used to look like, which was about a foot of just overgrowth and fallen leaves, it was a beast to clean up, but it was definitely worth it. There's also a hooker in there. There's a lot of good stuff in here, but I'll keep planting the good stuff and pulling out the random weeds every now and again, and then hopefully something dominates and takes over like this fern. If I see more of those, I know to plant more of those because they look really nice. I love the way they look, and they like I said, really distract you from the weeds. So more of those definitely. Yeah, that's the backyard, and this is where things go when I run out of space, because this is the dead area, which has just a bunch of weeds. But currently I have Rose of Sharon, this caramel hookerella that was doing pretty bad is doing well back here. I had this evergreen bush that was over pruned in the front. I stuck it back here. I'll let that put on some size. I have the Wigelia, which right here, which is this spilt wine or something, I think it's called. That's glorious. Hopefully that puts out a flower. I have this quince, which is doing quite nicely. It needs to be a little unruly at this point. I could cut that off. But beneath it was some coreopsis, and I just buzzed all that back because it was filled with a bunch of weeds. This area is looking pretty sad. I need to probably smother it with black plastic to kill the weeds, and then just buy a bunch of stone and really just put the stone down. But it gets so much trash from not trash, but detritus, debris from the trees above. It's really hard to pick it out, so I kind of just leave it. That area needs to be really weeded and cleaned up. Over here, things are looking okay. My alliums are done. Plants are looking good. Potatoes and sweet potatoes and peppers and tomatoes, everything's looking good. The mammoth dill is not mammoth, it's staying pretty small. My potatoes need to be picked back up. I'm going to put a string and kind of pull those back up and then hill those in with some more soil because they kind of like flopped over. So I'll do that eventually. I'm real careful with not showing you things that are really out of order because haven't been really good at tending to the garden. I've been really busy. Like there's a bunch of weeds over here. The creeping thyme is real spotty. It didn't come in well, so what I might do is pull up all of this creeping thyme and next year just plant columbine and let this be just columbine. I think I would really like that a lot. Kale looks good. I've been eating some of that. I put diatomaceous earth one time because it was really getting eaten up, and I know it's not a one and done application, but it seems to have solved the problem of that. You know, it grew past that problem, and the new growth has been pretty good. Although there's a couple holes now, so might need some more of that. Roses were nice. Roses were really nice, but I'm learning that I'm not really a rose fan because they just get eaten up, and I find myself having to spray them too much. So those might get clipped out. I might just do columbine back here, and in the fall I'll definitely do more bulbs. I like the bulbs. The bulbs are great, and then once all that's done, I'll keep the greens of the columbine and then back plant that with zinnias and cosmos, and just have this be a perennial bed with just that front of columbine. And I may put some woolly thyme. I saw that does well. I don't know how. I have some in the front in a pot. I don't know how well that does as a ground cover, or if it overwinters pretty good, but the woolly thyme seems to be really a lot better than this, whatever this one is, that dies off and then it puts green at the tips, and that's not what I was looking for. But yeah, I just gotta clean this up a little bit. But you know, mid-season sprucing is always, it always needs to be done. These alliums were glorious, so get rid of those. Yeah, that's the June garden back here. It is hanging in there as best as it can. I have the sunflowers here in the corner. I've been enjoying looking out the window and watching things thrive, and this has been magical. I just love the red with amongst the green with the variegated leaves. So I'll be getting more of those. I've done several different varieties of nasturtium, but I really like this one so far. So this is from Baker Creek, and so I'll be doing that again. But yeah, peace and blessings. Happy growing. Don't be too hard on yourself to keep things super tidy, because it ebbs and flows, you know. But things are for the most part looking good. Yeah, so I'll keep you all updated, and bye.